What's the deal? What's the deal, YouTube? So, it's your dog, OG Scotty B, you feel me? And so, like, I was gonna tell you the story and whatnot, you feel me? And, like, so what I kind of want to get into, you feel me, is about these trolls and whatnot, you know? What up? Are you fucking kidding me, man? Wow. What a shit show. Like, really? And you know, I'm gonna be the first to admit I got fucking fooled by some of these fucking clowns, man. These wigger fucking whatever. Just seriously, man. You know, the more I think about it, and the more I fucking sat there and analyzed it, it's like, shit, fuck, I don't, you know. Unsubscribe. I don't need to fucking, yeah, like, I went through all that shit when I was a kid and watched that kind of shit and just whatever, and I don't have time for it. It was entertaining for a while, but wow, you see, so the guys are dropping paperwork and this and that, and then fucking buddy, fucking Frogger, remember that game Frogger? He's got these little fucking geeks running down in LA. Where's Milk 74 at? K-Frog TV. Like, wow. Really? Like, just, really? Fuck, man. So, it's kind of just, I don't know, man. It's like the down, like, I guess this happens in any genre in YouTube, and that's kind of why I like to separate myself. Like, I'm not a prison channel. I'm not like really a recovery channel. Like, I'm an ex-heroin addict, but I mean, I don't have like a recovery date or anything like that. Like, I don't know when I started to get clean or whatever. It was a few years ago, basically, when Lorraine showed up in my life permanently, and we both kind of just stopped using dope. I mean, when she first came over and was starting to stay for longer stretches, I basically was taking care of her, like, financially through, like, I would go to work and I would make sure we had dope. After I'd come home from work, we'd do some dope and whatever. And I mean, she could go downtown anytime and front whatever and go and work at downtown and whatever. And she was like I said, she had the MRSA virus on her leg, and it was like she was going in and out of the hospital. They almost cut her leg off. So like, I kind of was like, you know, I want you to stay here and type thing. And she's like, well, man, and she used to be a real bitch too back then. Just so you know. Like, but I wasn't any better. I was like Captain Flirt, and I flirted with all the bitches. But anyways, like, I always had mad love for her. But she, she didn't want to. She's like, I want to contribute, man. I don't, you know. She didn't want to be kept, right? Because I mean. And then I'll go back, and there's a reason for that, and we'll get into that, like, when she starts getting into her story, because, I mean, seriously, man, her story is amazing. So I'm like, okay, cool, and she's like, well, I want to work. I'm like, thinking to myself, oh, yeah, okay. So, and like I said, I was living at this shelter, right, so, and I was like a tenant in the shelter, so I'd been there for a few years, and they basically kind of forgot about me. And it was kind of a program where they're supposed to come, you know, and work with me and get me out of the shelter into, like, either fair market rental or into BC Housing, which is like a program that you're supposed to sign up for when you get in the shelter. And I wasn't signed up, and I didn't know, you know what I mean? And just, I mean, a lot of these shelters and like BC Housing type places in Portland Society and stuff like that, a lot of them are poverty pimps, right? And they get a lot of money from the city, and they get a lot of money from federal stipends or whatever, and they spend it on themselves, or they have relatives or whatever move into these buildings that are, you know, supposed to be for, you know, homeless or welfare people or whatever, right? So it makes the wait list long and this and that, and it's a real bunch of bullshit. The whole system they got set up. I mean, it should be a lot more transparent, and it's just like with anything, like even the shelter, man. They get all this clothes donated, right? I mean, some of these clothes are designer clothes, man. This is in West Vancouver and North Vancouver, this shelter, dude. So some of these clothes are worn fucking once by these people in West Van and then donated to a shelter. You know, the little fucking Chinese lady that did the fucking laundry and shit, she bagged that shit for herself, man, and sold it. I mean, I was even in cahoots with her because, I mean, to actually get clothes to the shelter, you had to go through a bunch of red tape. I would just go to her and go, listen, you know, I need, you know, to hook up my wife and me. I don't have any clothes or what. And she'd be like, yeah, okay, come in Saturday. And she'd come in and I could have my fucking run of the place in a certain room. In another room they had, you had to go through like the manager. They had fucking brand new, like $300 work boots, vests, safety vests, you know, hard hats, fucking jeans, pants, snow gear, like all kinds of fucking shit donated, like really the high end shit, dude. And not only that, like shit went missing from that shelter, like drugs went missing because these people were like, they weren't certified or anything. They were just basically passed an addictions course or something. They got to work in this place, but then they were dispensing methadone to patients because one of the fucking you know, you had to up your medicine to these people, right, in order to stay there. So when you go to sign up to stay there, say, okay, listen, I'm on these drugs, and the doctor's prescribing this and this and that, right? And then you're supposed to get their medicine through them. Like, I literally saw them, man. This one guy, this Thomas, this fucking old speedhead, and he used to be on these Acadian morphines, right? Same thing that I'm on, but I remember once, man, he was fucking literally dope sick, throwing up, and the fucking TSW sat there and made him wait. Instead of just giving him his pills, letting him go into his room and doing them, sat there and made him wait till he filled out the fucking form and everything. And I remember, because I didn't do that program. I saw that. I'd been to this shelter before I actually became a tenant. And so I just kept my medicine on my own, and I didn't go do it through them because I just saw the bullshit they went through. So, I mean, but I could just imagine I would have ended up getting kicked out or getting thrown out or assault charge or something if a guy would have done that to me when I'm dope sick and my pills are right fucking there. Fuck that. But anyway, so Lorraine wanted to fucking, she wanted to work. So I'm like, okay. Went downstairs and I said, listen, I need size 8 boots and size 8 a vest and a hard hat. And they gave it to me, and I went upstairs and I threw it at her, and we were literally smoking dope right then. And she kind of looks at me. I'm like, okay, well, we got an and I was a foreman. I could hire her. I didn't even tell my boss that I was hiring her yet. I actually didn't tell him for a whole week. I wanted to try her out first because I honestly wasn't sure how she would work out. I mean, we were still using dope back then. So I hired her, and I was working at the Everything Wine building, and it was a flagship store in BC, and I was the foreman for the painting crew, and I didn't have many people under me. I would get sent a couple workers here now and then, and so my argument to my boss was, listen, I need somebody. There was all different colors on the walls and that, so I'd constantly be changing colors and so forth. So while I'm doing that, I'm also dealing with other foremen and other trades that are in my way or this and that, or, you know, I'm dealing with, it was a big construction site. So I'm basically like, yeah, I needed a helper, and I did, and she came in there, and yeah, and we weren't even fully, like, she wasn't even sure whether to put boyfriend down on the fucking form at that point, man, and I was like, what the fuck? you know, and but yeah, she worked out really, and she didn't even have her teeth then. I mean, her old last boyfriend stole her teeth, and I remember my dad bought her fucking teeth back, and I got mine. I mean, but yeah, like she was still in a mess in a bad way, kind of, and she stepped up to the plate, man, and just fucking rocked it. And I showed her what to do, and now, man, she makes me such a better painter. Like I couldn't, I wouldn't be as good as I am now without her. I mean, literally, she is my right hand. She, you know, yeah, she's just amazing, and yeah. So we'll get into some of that shit, but I just thought I'd drop a quick video and just kind of laugh at all these goofy little fucking wiggers on the fucking on YouTube. Like, fuck off, man. Really. Anyways, what's the deal?